It's happening today because we're seeing the worst changes to education in decades. What's happening right now with the cuts to maintenance grants, the changes to loan conditions, prevent visas for international students being cancelled, all of these changes, possible higher tuition fees, is much worse than the tripling of tuition fees in 2010 and the scrapping of EMA. We demand a free education, accessible, democratic for all students, free of barriers, free of borders and free of business. And that's why students are here and are excited to march today through London.
Well, I guess a lot of people would say fantastic if there could be free tuition, but the government might argue there's not enough money and universities do need to have sufficient funds to provide high-quality education. And they say this is the best possible system. They say that tuition fees are progressive. It's the people that benefit from education, from university, who are the ones who are paying, not all of taxpayers who might choose not to go to university.
So first of all, tuition fees are actually only like a small percentage of the money universities receive, and not the whole story. And actually, since the government has recently put out reports which make it clear that the fee system now is actually worse for the taxpayer than the system we had in 2010, because loans aren't being repaid and because of the way it works. So what we are arguing for is that we need a more progressive taxation system. When Jeremy Corbyn, made his tuition fee pledge in his campaign, he said all we would need to do is increase corporation tax by 2.5% and we'd be able to pay for the 10 billion that we need to have free tuition and maintenance grants for all students. I think that would be much fairer than the poorest students having £53,000 debt for the rest of their life.
Well, yes, and no one likes the idea of debt. However, it would appear that since this tuition fee system has been in place, poorer students don't appear to have been put off, according at least to the University and Colleges Admission Service figures. In 2014, more people applied than ever before to university, and the number of places rose by 10% amongst those who are poor, who are less well off.
Yeah, so I think that number is quite flawed, actually, because what we've also seen since 2010 is places and universities being increased, because obviously universities receive so much of their funding now from students directly. Universities have given out much more places, actually more than they have space for. We've seen students, sitting on staircases in lecture halls. What we've also seen is part-time students dropping by 48% since 2010. And part-time students, that's mature students, that's parents, that's working-class students who are not going to university anymore. But I think what's worse, in 2010, when David Cameron introduced the tuition fee rise, he said, we are going to make sure that every student can still go to university, and that's why we're going to increase the money for grants. And that's exactly what they're taking away now. They're cutting maintenance grants, which 1 million of the poorest students rely on in order to go to university. And 1/3 of them who currently get these grants have said they would have not been able to go to university if it wasn't for these grants.
OK, well, Deborah Hermans, student organiser for the national campaign against fees and cuts, thanks very much indeed for your time.